Welcome to virtual edition of BMO IFSA Toronto 2020. I'm Alka Sahani from Indian Express, and with me there is this fantastic team of Amis, uh, my absolute favorite artist and director of last year. Uh, Amis is one of the most intriguing and delightful movie to come out uh, of India in 2019. And ever since it premiered at Tribeca Film Festival, it has been in the news. It has been widely discussed, debated, and people have been analyzing the movie. So with us, we have Bhaskar Hajarika, director and writer of the movie. And this is Bhaskar's second feature film after Kathanadi, uh, which was also bracketed as a dark tale, but that was based on folk tales of India. And this is Bhaskar's original story. Uh, and there is Dr. Lima Das. Lima is, interestingly, a dental surgeon and a Kshatriya classical dancer, and this is her debut. And she is absolutely brilliant as Nirmali. And we have Orghadev Borua. Orgha is a musician, and he belongs his outfit musical outfit is called Bottle Rockets India. And this is also Orgha's debut film. There is Poonam Deol. Poonam is the producer of the movie, and Poonam and Bhaskar has earlier they have earlier done a short film together. This is their first feature film, and this is Poonam's first feature film as a as a producer. So I know Bhaskar has been asked this question multiple number of times, and he has answered this. But I would like to still like to ask Bhaskar, how did you get this idea of a slightly wicked, dark, twisted love story?
You're so right about this. Everybody asked me this question. And obviously, if I was an audience member, I'd also ask the same question to the director. And these three people, they're used to me here saying the same story again and again, and they're like, "Oh God, here he goes again." The origin story of Amis. But for whatever it is, it's just an idea that came to me out of observation. Just watching people eat in a mall. And then I started talking to Sham about doing this crazy. It was supposed to be a joke, that there's this story where instead of touching each other, people are eating each other. And I thought he'd laugh, but he just said that sounds good. And then we met Poonam, and Poonam obviously she just saw my first film and wanted to work with me. She wanted to produce something, and I narrated the story to her. So by the time I met her, the story was pretty much well developed. And I clearly remember Poonam putting her hand in her heart, and saying, "I want to do this film." So it was great, It was just such an organic fit that both my producers completely understood the story. Probably they understood it even more than I did, Especially Poonam, because she just, because she is. I think you have an MPhil, right, in history, from JNU. So she started analyzing it academically, and giving me a lot of ideas about the script also. So that's the way it is, That's how the whole thing started.
Hmm. So when you approached, I think Lima was one of the first person to be cast. So when you approached Lima, did you already have your script in place?
Not really. I had the story fully developed, and I had the producers, so I knew this film was going to happen because I didn't want to approach him. Because Lima and me, like, we were family friends. So I met her. I don't know. I don't remember meeting her when I was, like, growing up, but we just happened to meet at a cousin's place, and she wanted to, because she's a hot player dancer, she wanted to work with me on a documentary on dance. And I just thought that she'll be quite good on screen because her eyes, so they're so cinematic, and I could just visualize them doing wonders on screen, on a big screen. So obviously then over the next 1 year, when I had the story ready, I went and asked her would she do something, consider something like this, and she said yeah. So but the script was not written.
What I was actually wanted to understand is uh, how did you develop the script? In the sense, did you have the structure ready and then you again changed it when the actors came in? Did they again their presence contribute to developing their characters?
Well, you could say that's true for maybe Lima's character, Nirmali, because I had already told her the story before the script was written, and I was pretty much sure that they should work. This film should work with somebody like her. Orgo was not in the picture then. Finding Orgo was another big adventure for us. It was like a last minute kind of a find. So he was not in the picture, but the script was developed pretty much just me writing the draft over a period of 2 months, sharing with Poonam. The ending was very different in my original draft. Then we had a lot of debate and discussion among the three of us, and we came up with this second draft. So that's how it was. But yeah, I mean, for Nirmali's character, I pretty much I had studied Lima a little bit then, and I sort of knew how to portray like what she cannot do on screen. So that really helped.
So this question is for Lima and Orgya. Both of you are first-time actors on screen. What were your concerns when you were stepping into the role of Nirmali and Suman? And what were your first thoughts, or on top of your mind? And secondly, how what was the process of preparing for these roles?
Yeah, so the concerns were like because it was my first film, the primary concern was whether or not I'll be able to face the camera. I mean, it was my first film, but you don't want people to find out unless you tell them. You don't want them to see the like there were other stars which who wanted to probably would have done it. So I took it up as a challenge, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And the process was like we had to go through a workshop by Seema Biswas Baido. She's a veteran actor, and during the workshop we had to go through a lot of these exercises. And then she gave us a few tips on how to face the camera, what is to be done and what is not to be done, and the difference between acting on stage, because I have been a classical dancer, so I'm used to the stage, but not so used to the camera. So she explained what the differences were, difference between acting in front of the camera and acting on stage. And these little things, they really helped us to prepare for for us to get into the character. So, Orgha, would you like to say something?
Well, with me, I feel initially I was very reluctant to be a part of the acting thing, because I personally feel that being a film student or being a lover of film, I feel that you should be honest about your craft or art. And before Amesh, I never even thought of doing acting. So initially I was pretty reluctant, but yes, like Lima Ba said, throughout the process of workshop, we realized that how we can approach this, and I think that really helped us a lot. And if I have to add little to what she said, in my case, I think the way Bhaskarda used to tell us about the soundscape and some of the music that he used to share before every scenes, that really helped me in order to understand my mood, or to say the character more.
Poonam, Bhaskar said that from the time you read the script, you wanted to be on board. So what drew you to this story? Because this is a brave decision on your part to support such an unusual subject.
No, actually, the script wasn't written. The broad skeleton was there. So script was written later on, after we finalized the one. So my basic concern was that obviously because the female protagonist is turning into a cannibal and all, so the film shouldn't come across as a justification of cannibalism, and that the whole logic of her transformation is from repression, not from innate nature of women. So these two things are very important. Like the dark side, when she becomes like this diabolical kind of psychology that she develops. So that is the whole logic is from repression. So I was so comfortable with that. These are the two things that were important.
Bhaskar, I'm very curious to know, did the food references and they came naturally because you are you are from Assam, but you have not lived in Assam for long before you became a filmmaker. So, or did you have to again familiarize yourself with the cuisine of Assam?
Well, you're right. I have not been in Assam for much of my life till I started doing Assamese cinema with my first film. But the process of familiarization was well and truly over with after I did my first film. It was that film, Pathanadi was such a rooted film, in its culture, that there was no way of doing that film without re-acclimatizing or reacquainting yourself with your culture. So that process had already happened. The food, inspirations, much of it has to do with Manas Borua, who is the production designer on Amis. So two people who stayed with me during the entire pre-production process of about a month was my DOP, the cinematographer Riju, and my production designer Manas. So we were all staying together, and that really helped because Manas is a very quiet guy. He wakes up unlike us. He wakes up early in the morning at the crack of dawn, does yoga, and then his sketches his ideas out. So so between him, me, Riju, and Google, we sort of created this 4 dishes that we thought we should present. Not all of them are Assamese. One of them is a dolma, which is apparently a Turkish dish, according to Google. But variations of that dish are there in all cultures. So that's how it was. So Manas would just sketch out how the dish would look, and then we would decide what it would be.
So the story is also at some part, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's also a tightrope walk. It could have become grotesque. It could have become, say, something even darker than it is. Did you at some point held yourself back and while shooting or developing the story?
Yeah, I mean that it is one of those stories you will still find in the audiences 1 or 2 people laughing a little bit when the crazy part starts. There is a very thin line between, because the danger of people laughing at the premise was very great in the second half, because it is a barely plausible plot. It sounds very impossible and improbable probably, but our job was to make it look plausible. And thankfully, because of our lead characters and the music, we managed to convince people that this might happen this way. So the danger that it would slip into the territory where people will just laugh and walk out and say, what the hell is this? That we avoided in large part because of the choice of these actors, because they're so new, they've never faced a camera, and they're so innocent about the whole process of filmmaking and becoming a character, and that honesty and that innocence showed through. And of course the music. I wish I had remembered to just have Tammy and after Aniruddha in this call, because they are from Toronto. Kwanbe, the band, the 2-member band who did music for us. So actually, it would have been great if they could have also been on this call, but it just slipped my mind. But so between these, these 2 actors and the music directors, we sort of achieved this space for the film where people were not laughing, but actually believing and eventually empathizing with them, which was great for us, which is exactly what we wanted.
Did you work on the chemistry between Nirmali and Suman? Was there a kind of preparation or a workshop? How did what was your brief to them,
Yeah,
and how did
I mean, we had about a 10-day workshop. It was very intense, especially for the actors, because they had a very hard taskmaster in Seema Biswas. We did, of course, we tried to see how it would go. If when you do a film like this, you traditionally think that okay, the 2 actors, because they're in a love story, they have to off-screen also bond. So we tried all those tricks. Some worked, some didn't. I don't know how they felt about each other, but they were like totally on point when it was time to shoot, and it was just the way we wanted them to be. I don't know, Poonam would probably shed more light on that.
The Seema Baidu, she did a wonderful job. No? She had this rigorous workshop, and she made them do stuff, made them laugh, cry, love, hate, everything. That was amazing. Yeah. So the credit goes to her.
Lima and Orgha, if you can give us a little insight, what happened behind the camera, between you 2? How did you two interact?
It was our first film. Both of us are very nervous, and we would share, whatever we felt. Um, I just told, I think I remember telling Orpal, let's just take it cool and play it as naturally, because Bhaskar did a good job, casting us, and probably he believes that we can, pull it off. So I just told him that let's just be our natural selves, and because anything extra will show up on the screen and would be, that wouldn't really, people, it wouldn't be believable. So yeah, and I think rest of it was taken care by the entire crew, because they made it so believable and they made it so comfortable for us. And because I remember before every shot, Bhaskar would brief us what exactly he wanted, both me and Arnav, what exactly he wanted out of that particular shot. And the last minute instructions which were given, they were so apt, and that really helped. More than reading the script over and over again, it's just like just before you're about to deliver that act. So if you're briefed well and if you really understand what exactly is required, I think that really helped for me and all.
To share a story here. I mean, I remember during the workshop when we were told to do the Navrasas, I was having a really difficult time. And then one day, Limaba took me for a a momo treat, and she made me understand that everything will be fine. Don't worry. Just stay calm and let go certain inhibitions that you have inside. You just have to let go. So I really owe a lot to those incidents, and also like Bas said, the whole crew uh, had this the environment about the whole process of filmmaking was so beautiful that it just happened naturally.
Bhaskar, how much liberty did you give them for improvisation?
Well, the thing is, these two, they are just empty vessels. They've never acted before. So, they were like, okay, here we are. What do we have to do? So it is good in a way, because then you're just telling them exactly what you want. But if you get an experienced actor, he or she may give you, options which might confuse you on set. It's happened to me with experienced actors where they'll say, "Can I do it like this?" Which is something I had not thought about. And if you're an inexperienced director, you tend to say, "Okay, fine. He's a senior the guy. He's showing me a variation. Man, will shoot it." But then it might not be the way you wanted it. So with them, at least that was not taken care of. It's not like they had ideas, of course, but they were very receptive. They were very receptive because they. I think implicitly had faith that this guy knew the story more than us, so let us just listen to him what he has to say. So it was a very easy process. It was very easy. Especially Lima. Lima actually, for her first film, she really challenged me a lot, because she'd come to me and say, I understand you want me to do it this way, but I just don't feel like doing it this way. Can you think of something else? So that will be a challenge to me. Now I have to think, how else I can do this. So it was really good. It was a good two-way process, getting these two guys ready and into the characters.
Would you, Lima and Olga, do you want to contribute to this, but like your experience or anything
Yes.
you want? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bhaskar gave us a lot of liberty, because and he would give us time. The shot is getting ready, so why don't you show me how you're going to do it? And I would give him like, is this the way? And he said, no, this is not working. Do it some other way. So we had time to prepare. So I think that really helped. And yeah, actually, he's right. We totally trusted him because we thought that he knew the script. He knew what he was doing, and plus we had seen his work in Kothanuri. So I had faith in him. I had complete faith in him as a director. And because it was my first film, I was thinking I might as well, follow his instructions. I didn't want to, take the risk. So I played it safe, and I think it worked. Yeah.
Bhaskar, the food as a metaphor, did it it came organically while you were writing the story, or this kind of you started weaving it in?
No, actually, the story, like I said before, was just about these two lovers who do not touch each other, but they find a new way of touching each other. So, the potential of meat being a metaphor for many things was realized later on. Initially, it was just telling this story, and then it realized, okay, we're using meat, and love is also about the flesh. So, so yeah, there were things we could do with this. So that's how it came about. It was not like, I want to make a film about meat as a metaphor and so this story. It was the other way around. I started doing the story and realized that here in this story, meat can be used as a metaphor.
Bhaskar, you are today a significant voice in Indian cinema. Uh, how do you see how do you look at this thing that the story should be rooted uh, in our local culture to say something more meaningful and universal? Uh, do you believe in that?
Well, first of all stories should be honestly told. And if you look at any person in the world, what they know most honestly is the world they live in, the world they inhabit. So for a long time, there was this tendency in, at least it is still there in commercial cinema in India, where, not only do you get inspired by the technology of shooting film from the West or some other place, even the narratives are sort of, it seems like, they've just taken superficial characters from or tropes from Western cinema, commercial cinema and Hollywood, and they try to mimic it here. But if you just forget all that and just take the technology of cinema and see the developments that have been happening over the last 30-40 years and the ways films are being made, but you stay rooted to your culture in terms of the stories you tell, because you should always tell stories about things especially when you're starting out, because that will make your film, your story honest. I don't know, I'm rambling, but this is what I feel.
People like watching regional, flavored cinemas. They have got used to the same Bollywood kind of thing. So it's like, it's like fresh air, something new they look forward to.
Bhaskar, will you ever do a typical love story? The true romantic kind of. Do you think now that everybody has called your film
This
dark and twisted, will you be tempted to
this is a
prove them
typical love
wrong?
story, man. What are you talking about? I just did one called Amis. It's a very typical love story. It's just that you know. But I don't know. I think I'm for a while. I'm done. I've obviously got lots of ideas for films. Some of
Hmm.
them these three people know about, some don't. But none of them is a love story because it's not about doing a particular kind of story. It's about telling a story, and that story may be a love story or a horror story or a comedy. But the impulse is always to tell a new story, tell
Hmm.
another story. So it's like I said, I don't like think that okay, so now I'm going to make a film in the comedy genre. Then think about, so it's not like that. It's just you think of a story and that's how you just want to tell the story.
After making two successful movies, both your movies, we can say they have been critically successful, acclaimed. So we can call them successful movies. So after making two successful movies, has it become easier for you to get the budget that you wish to have?
In a pre-COVID world, that's yes. But now all bets are off. We are in this strange dark zone. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, It's true that I have been approached by more people now after Amis to work on a film, and there have been talks about doing a lot of films, but everything is stopped, and all of us are trying to make sense of the coming 1 year, what it's going to be like. For the moment, I'm just developing and writing new concepts, hoping that when the time comes, I will find people who will look at producing them.
So what has been the most amazing or interesting response that you have got for Amis? This question is for everyone.
And let's start with Poonam, because I need to think.
I think it was my mother's response. She was like, it was going so well. Then what happens? What happened to the story? I was like, yeah, okay. But at least you wanted to watch it. No, you wanted to sit through. She was like, yeah. So, yeah. Lima?
She was numb for a while and she was like, okay, let everybody else react to this. I'll react later. So, yeah, but then she was happy that, I got this chance. Like the very first film, something so different and was so successful in its own way. And yeah, and all the overwhelming response from my friends, family, from people from all over the place of Assam in India. That has been a wonderful experience, such a new experience for me. I was working in dental college as an associate professor, and this is like a whole new world for me. And it's like, hello, what's happening? It's amazing, miracles do happen. I'm so happy I did this. I'm so happy Bhaskar, offered me this role. Thank you so much, Poonam. She's been such a wonderful support the entire, all the time. She was like an elder sister on set, and she was like supporting me. I'll never forget that. Such a sweet person. Thank you so much.
It was such a pleasure being there with you all.
Oh. And Argo, of course, Argo was a darling, really. Argo, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, like Bas said, and Poonamji also, saying the whole experience was really overwhelming. The kind of love that was there within the set ultimately reciprocated from outside, I believe. It was, I mean, it's always something when you do something with true intent, positive intent, good intent, and with love and compassion, it, I think, comes back also in some way or the other. And that really happened with us in Amis. And as far as reaction is concerned, I would say ki, uh, 5 days back, I just got a script from Bangladesh, which is which according to him is like a sequel to Amis. So he said he liked it so much that he almost wrote another script. What could happen after what happened? So that is like an interesting kind of a reaction to So I haven't read it yet, but yeah, that's interesting to see people also coming up with their own ideas.
Have you been offered a role there? Role in that movie?
I haven't asked. No, I didn't ask that.
I still don't know what to say. I really have been, overwhelmed, by the reception to this film. I mean, it was a thrill with my first film, when somebody in Texas saw the film. I was there at a film festival, and this lady just comes out and just is shivering. So it was quite a thrill for me to see that I've created something that made people feel this way. Somebody would come and just say that, touch my hands and see how cold they are. This is what your film has done to me. With Amis, it was more of that. It's much more of that. It was much more. Many more people saw it. So obviously, I got a lot of very very pleasing reactions for a writer filmmaker. Because it is idea validation that that it's not you are not crazy for thinking of a story like this. There are people out there who get you, who get the story you're trying to say. So it's always a pleasure to meet people who react so passionately when they see the film, and I always enjoy that, and it inspires me, motivates me to keep on going, writing more stuff.
Will it be right to say that Amis has in some way has created a path forward, like because Lima and Arghya came together for a music video, you and Poonam are working together. So can it be? Can I say that this camaraderie that you probably created during the shoot uh, is now utilized to create more content, more beautiful maybe movies or something substantial?
Yeah, I'm sure it's yeah. I mean, we bonded very well in this unit. I mean, film units normally tend to bond very strongly because they're together for 30, 40 days working on the same thing. But with Amis, it's always been a little different. It's just this very a very fundamental level. So I think people have connected, all the people who worked on the film, and I hope that this connection lasts a lifetime. We do many more things together. I was most pleased when I heard about 6 months after we finished shooting Amis that Poonam is now going to direct a film, and it's great
Wow.
that that people were inspired, by the whole process, and I think she's done with the film almost, and hopefully we'll get to see it soon, right, Poonam?
Yeah,
Poonam
hopefully.
is.
That's wonderful. One of the questions I was thinking, like, Bhaskar, your Katha Nadi was shot in Majuli, uh, mostly, right? And that was probably a little more secluded area. But while this is in Guwahati, in a city, so did the city throw any challenges at you?
From the production side, definitely, because Guwahati, like most Indian cities, is a super noisy place. It's just so much honking. Why do people honk so much? I have to ask this question every day on the set because we were doing sync sound. We could not like afford to have disturbance, and it is just such a horrible experience working in an Indian city because we are just not quiet. We just don't know how to turn out the damn phone, the horn, when you're driving your car in India. So that was a huge challenge, which was not there when we were doing Kothanodi, which was obviously shot deep into in a river island where there was very little traffic, very little people. Forget traffic. So that was one big challenge of shooting in the city. This challenge is faced not just by us; it's by anybody who's shooting in an Indian city. It's especially hurtful for independent filmmakers who work on very small budgets. So you cannot keep doing take after take for sound, But that's how it is. It's just we live in such noisy places.
So what do you think happened to Suman and Nirmali? Since people are already speculating, what would you say happened to them, Lima, Orgyo, and Bhaskar, if you, or even Poonam, just if we have to widely speculate?
Lima will start. I'll go last. I'll think.
And then he will come up with the best answer.
No, that's the idea.
Or maybe most twisted answer.
I don't know. It ended so well. I didn't want to think what might have happened to them. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's not so important after all. So that's how I would like to remember holding hands together.
I think they wouldn't touch. They would never touch. That's the whole idea.
After it ended, what they did was like they packed up, then the whole cast and crew had a great time, and then they went to Brahmaputra beach, and with the sun go down, they had a beautiful thing together, which gave them which they became a next level high. I mean, which Vasco Da can also explain. I mean, thank you. Yeah, I think that's how it ended after that.
What would have happened? I think Poonam would remember we had 3 different endings for the film by the end of it. By the time we were in the 7th draft, and one in which they're never caught, one in which Suman is caught, but he doesn't reveal her name, so she comes to meet him when they're parading him. And I don't even remember what the third one was. Maybe it was just 14 years later. You see this Suman coming out of jail and totally off meat for good. And I don't know, there were so many crazy ideas that also came up in the workshop. What could happen? One idea was that why doesn't she just cut up the husband and eat him? Why does she have to eat this sweet boy? But yeah, I mean, I think when I started writing Aamis, I was very sure what's going to happen in the end, which is that they will touch. It was very important for me in a film where the characters do not touch even once throughout the relationship. In the last shot to make them touch is not. It may not be integral to the story, but it is a good cinematic moment. So you need to use these things to have the desired effect in the audience. And so I was very clear that this is how it will end. By the end of it, how they get there, we had a lot of disagreement, debate, discussion about on the crew, but I was very clear that let's end the film with them touching once.
Okay, I'm tempted to ask one more last question. Yeah. So, Bhaskar, it is, I think in the recent times, this is one of the strongest movies about female desire. We do not talk about it. Was that a conscious thought in your mind while writing it and directing it?
Definitely not. It was definitely not at the forefront of my mind, because I'm not a woman. So I don't know how to write from the perspective of a woman. It is all anecdotal knowledge about women, experiential knowledge, how they react to things. Because at the end of it, I'm so obviously whatever came out subconsciously. The female. I just try to be empathetic towards a female's, a woman's, need for romantic love and for or a sexual desire. So I didn't try to, I tried not to look at it from a male point of view. I tried to put myself in the shoes of a woman like Nirmali and see what it looks like. So I tried to empathize to get the correct character, but it is not like it was at the forefront that I have to in this film show female desire or whatever it is. That is never the point. The point is to tell the story.
Thank you. I'm sure Amis will continue to inspire many more discussions and debate